Omega is the head of the cult, to be straightforward, but no one really knows what the Omega is, in truth, I think. It's a woman that is a head of a cult, but it's also perhaps an energy or a force, or you could say a portal to something else. And you can see her as a medium to transcend from this material world that we have into something divine. Perhaps she is a demigoddess. Perhaps she's a shard of God. But she is definitely a symbol of change and a symbol of transforming into something else.
Due to timing and scheduling conflicts down here in the big studio, I actually tracked most of the guitars in my studio at home using a camper amplifier and tracking the DI signals. Later on we brought those DI signals down here to the big studio and we ran them through my amplifiers. Guitar wise, I used a couple of Gibson SGs for the main rhythm parts and the lead parts, and for overdubs I had, among other things, an LTD Stratocaster, an Aria Flying V and a Yamaha acoustic. Amplification wise, I ran the guitar through a Rat pedal and then into a Marshall head, 1987 X head, and into a Music Man HD 130 head, running it through 2 Marshall cabs. And that's pretty much all I used. I had a couple of delays and other stuff that I used from the mixing board over at the Mixdown. And that's pretty much it.
First of all, we make sure there's coffee. We make sure there's cookies. Because sometimes we tend to sit here for a while, so we like coffee. And if we have some upcoming live shows, we usually play through those sets, you know, maybe make some alterations if needed, checking that we have enough songs, that we don't have too many songs, and everything like that, you know, technical, boring stuff. And after that, we might discuss if we have to do some upgrades in the studio, upgrades on our equipment, on anything like that. And we tend to meet like at least once a week, maybe more if we have to. If there's a lot of projects going on, we have some extra meetings. We don't necessarily play every time. Sometimes we just have a lot of stuff to discuss in and around the band. And when we're working on new songs, like for instance, we've been working on the Omega for almost a year, I think, in total with everything. We're not the jamming kind of band that gather in the rehearsal room and try out new ideas, because it always ends up with 5 people playing 5 different songs at the same time, and you don't get anything done. So we put the pieces together in the studio to make sure that we have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And after that, we try the songs out for a spin. At least for us, that has been the most efficient way for us to work. Like learning the bits and pieces at home, then coming down to the studio, try to play it together, and then go back again to the studio, changing something that didn't feel right or stuff like that. And that's kind of how we work down here.